Okay, I'm live. All right. This is for um those of you who actually care to listen to me chit chat. I'm gonna put a word up here. How many of you have used this word before? This is how Google pronounces it.
Schadenfreude,
Let's try that again.
Schadenfreude,
One more time.
Schadenfreude,
Schadenfreude. I used to always call it Schadenfreude, Schadenfreude. I never pronounced it correctly, but according to Google, Schadenfreude. Do any of you know what that means? Um, some of you may know. So basically, it's Schadenfreude is when someone basically takes pleasure in someone's misfortune or downfall or something along those lines. And it could be based off of a lot of things. Jealousy, I think primarily jealousy. Okay, now look, let me just put this up here. Everything's alleged, in my opinion, all that good stuff. Look, I'm not a doctor, right? Now, there's been a lot going on. I just want to play this name or one more time this word.
Schadenfreude, Schadenfreude,
Schadenfreude. So look, there's a lot that's been happening um over the last couple weeks. And let me just go ahead and bring up my thing. This is the thumbnail, Schadenfreude. I'm sorry, let me take this word off here. I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together. You see the thumbnail, Schadenfreude has a character from The Simpsons. Ha ha. Remember that? Okay. So look, let's jump right on in it. Let's just wait. What's going on here? What am I doing? All right. Let's just jump right on in it. So today I put out a short. I didn't want to comment too much on the Shanquella Robinson situation. Okay. Um, there was video that has come out over the last couple days. I didn't comment on it right away because I was like trying to wrap my head around this situation. But there was this person rumored to be a man, and I do think it's important to the story, by the way, so I'm bringing up the whole trans thing. There it's rumor, everything is alleged. Okay. I don't know how true it is that there was this man who was beating up this woman. It was a trans woman who beat up this woman. Regardless if trans or not, there were people who watched. If you don't know who Shanquella Robinson is, this is what she looks like. Shanquella Robinson was the young woman, approximately 25, I believe, found no longer amongst the living in Mexico, rumored to have been unalived by her so called friend group. I The severity of the Schadenfreude, I think varies, but it's so pervasive in our community. I definitely feel like it's a cancer. Now, for those of you who want to say that it exists in every community, it's not that I don't care, but I don't care, right? I'm trying to lend a level of specificity to the community that I'm part of, right? The amount of Schadenfreude that exists is I don't even know how to quantify it, right? Like how do you quantify a feeling or an emotion? Uh, Jealousy. But this isn't just about that, but this is what was weighing heavily on me. Um, I think about um, going back to when people on reality TV who look like us, they drag each other so bad. They want to drag each other. They want to drag each other. Like if it's kind of like putting 20 on 10, right? If somebody steps on your foot, the response is like, cut off your foot. Like the community loves to see the downfall of people. There are some people who may even think that the downfall of Kanye was relish. I'm sure some people relish that. I felt sad for him because I do feel like he's battling something else. I can't really diagnose this man. I mean, we all say that he's a little on the cray cray side. I do kind of believe that, but it's ultimately not up to me. But to watch this community in such turmoil, um, the jealousy, there were people who watched Shanquella Robinson get they this one person just kept beating her. Like I couldn't watch. It's just too much for me. Like a very visceral reaction because I think, what if that was one of my children? What if I was sitting here and now I'm going to the holidays and I don't have my child? And it doesn't matter if there's a holiday, like I don't have my child. For people to film that, I'm like, what kind of demonic forces are in this community? Who takes joy in watching someone just get beaten to a pulp? Who enjoys dragging someone on television to the point of humiliation? There's something unhealthy, there's something demonic, satanic. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. But people when they see that you are trying to do something, or maybe not, maybe you just shine. You just shine. Okay. Oftentimes people don't want to see you doing better than them because they can't see themselves doing better. They cannot see themselves doing better.
Schadenfreude,
I was just sitting there tonight. My daughter had um a Girl Scouts event, so she was doing a cookie booth thing. And this one of the parents of her friends was talking about some other activity that had happened among some other girls, but her daughter um had received some news. And I was just thinking about, now these people don't look like us, but I was thinking about how people can just be mean, intentional or not. And that got me to thinking, like, maybe I should do a short little video on Schadenfreude. So it's a German word, look it up. For those of you who are in podcast land, it's Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Okay.
Schadenfreude,
But when I think about going back to this woman, Shanquella Robinson, what would drive a group of people to want to beat her to a pulp and to film it? What would make someone go to those, like, what is that? Like I've said the other day, I feel like, especially with Black women, we talk about we're on all these journeys and all that other stuff like that. We need to start getting on with the business of healing. Healing isn't just talking about it, it's being about it. We would rather watch somebody else suffer, be dragged, humiliated. And if you think I'm just saying this, I'm not. I actually was saying this long before I finally started talking about it when I first got my channel. Now, look, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to need you to not get your hee haws at my initial, well, hold on a second, at my initial, let me see, share my screen here. Because look, I just started out. I was on the struggle bus. Wait, where is it? Is that the one? Or here it is. Now, look. Try not to hee haw too much, okay? Because this was like when I was still brand new. Let me see. How do I do this? Let me get to that video. This was an old video. It was October 22nd, 2021. I don't even think I was on this app for 2 months at this time. But as you can see here, this was what I titled the video, Shade Read Drag. Oh my. And I want to go down to I had a shade definition, a read definition, and here's the drag definition.
Drag is when you roast someone harshly. I wanted to pause on that. I wanted there to be a pregnant pause on that. It's when you roast someone harshly. Someone supporting you might say this word, right? When you roast someone harshly, someone supporting you might say this word. Or you can be dragged, is when you are disrespected or humiliated on an internet forum. Now,
okay, so right there, I talked about what it was like to be dragged in the humiliation. I'm going to skip down to, I actually put chapters on here. Here we go.
Question number one. Why are we doing this? You have on, there's a Real Housewives of Potomac. There's a character on there. I call it a character because I don't know if this is like this, how this person is in real life. Well, I think her name is, well, I know her name is Candace. She engages and uses language that is so reckless and so harmful. Childish. Why are we doing this? I think because everybody's hurting. Everybody is hurting. We're going around, and I do believe hurt people, but to watch how people take pleasure, and then it's like, yeah, I got this kind of mouth, like they're proud of it. They are proud. This is what our culture has turned into. Why do we have to go from shading to reading to dragging? This is what our reality TV, this is what, and granted, I know that not everyone is like this, but this is the representation.
Okay, I'm moving forward here. Next part, I said we
There.
want to be seen.
So I just think a lot of it has to do with we want to be seen. I think a lot of it is the whole spectacle of it all. I think because now I'm speaking from a black, about.
All right, I mean, and I went on and on, and it was basically like getting in my feelings about stuff, like I did pause on a crazy face there, didn't I? So look, anyway, getting back to it, I if anybody thinks that I'm just saying this just because it seems to be like the hot topic, no. I said this over a year ago, and I've been saying it, it's just that I never had this kind of a platform before. But I don't know. I mean, this is where we're at. The culture, like Schadenfreude. This is where we're at. Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
That's just where we're at with it. We're unhappy people. We want others to be humiliated so they can be in the gutter with us. We don't want them to have any accolades. We want the accolades. We want to be seen. The problem is we get so jealous of other people, we can't have them possibly shine. And if someone is doing something great, we can't possibly see that in them because we can't even see it in ourselves. How dare someone be smarter or prettier or faster or creative or whatever? We're in a culture of Schadenfreude. This is what we're at with it. We got a bunch of unhealthy people. That's where we're at with it. So now that, I put that word out there because I think we need to use that word more often. I'm being a little petty, but we need to come up with some new words in our lexicon, right? Like, not so much that we're creating new words, but there's other words that we could be using. Instead, we want to beat words like gaslighting and high value, and I don't know what else we're talking about. But let's talk about Schadenfreude. This is where we're at in the culture. Well, I don't really feel like I'm part of that of the culture. I'm part of the community, but not necessarily culture. All right, so look, I just wanted to get on and say that real quick. I mean, it wasn't meant to be mind blowing, but that's just where I'm at with it. And you look, if you found any of this, sorry, my head is itching. If you found any of this remotely interesting, even a little bit, this is a great opportunity for you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead. But look, all right, so go ahead. I want you guys to go out there and just start talking to people and just saying the word. Just say it because like we need new words anyway. We need to talk about it.
Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude.
That's where I'm at with it. We need to do that. Okay? We need to talk about that. Why do we like this? What is up with this? Like why do we need to see so many people humiliated? Why do we want to hurt people? Why do we want to drag people? Why do we want to beat people? Why do we want to constantly take weapons and unalive people? We've got a young rapper who's gone. We have this young woman who's gone. We got people on reality TV losing their freaking minds. It's gotten to the point where I fall asleep on the shows. I'm probably going to have to stop watching the show because I've stopped watching several shows. We're unhappy, unhealthy people. That's where we're at with it. We're unhealthy people. So, getting back to the trans thing real quick. The reason why I brought that up was because if that information is true, I'm I don't know if I'm more horrified, but it goes back to show like when just because a man decides to transition into a woman, this man was beating her with man muscles. It's crazy. And people watched it. And, you know, and I'm going to overgeneralize. I am not a doctor, so I know people are going to want to come for me, but men, when they're angry, they typically want to fight with their fist or whatever. It's more physical. Generally speaking, women don't get, I'm not saying women have never gotten physical. That's not typically our MO. I don't know, maybe things have changed. But this was a full-on trans woman man who decided to take his or her anger allegedly out on this woman. Everything I say is alleged. This is crazy. All right, Schadenfreude, that's your word for the day. Go ahead and leave a comment.